The topic of this morning that I had to address is country packages, the status of the implementation, the differences between the countries, and I have to provide you with some preliminary remarks. First, I'm very happy that yesterday the delegation of Aruba presented a point of departure when they want to speak about labor conditions that are hard for some and how to provide them then with a pension arrangement that is more favorable. And for that point of departure, they said, I have a Dutch passport. I'm a police officer in the kingdom. And in the Netherlands already, the second chamber has this arranged for the police officers there. What about we over here? So I immediately applauded that because I also have a Dutch passport, but I already have left the civil service of the Netherlands Antilles since 1996, and nothing can change anymore my pension. And so if you want to do something about your pension of tomorrow, you better start looking into it today. You cannot look into the pension without looking in your salary, your basic salary, because the pension is based on the basic salary development. So when we talk today about this presentation of the country package, first of all, I have to refresh your mind that the country package has been a set of conditions for our governments from Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin to get liquidity support. But that was presented like, oh, we're going to help you. We're going to assist you because you don't get enough revenue. But what you will see, and that is what I'm trying to explain in this part of the presentation, is that the country packages are actually part of a colonial development strategy. And you all have heard already the discussions that happened about the chair, the committee for hervorming of the what do you call it, the hervormingsentiteit. Then they changed it in coho. Chair became coho, and for all and especially Papiamento speakers, they changed one of the letters after they started to understand what was in it for us, what is there in it for we. So when you ask me, okay, but talk today about the country packages and what is the status of the implementation, we have to start with from day one. The first measures that came down and the request now, where are we now? So that is what you will go to see. And because I want to contrast what is your right to development of the people, and then workers organized in unions are part of the people. What is their right to development? And is that what a country package is actually providing? Realization of that right. In October last year, that I was invited by the Ombudsman of St. Martin to address the Kingdom Conference of Ombudsmannen. And it was there that the topic was how to address the poverty. So with that in the background, I will share with you that even police officers today, even though they have a salary and they have a job, they actually live in poverty. And I know that a lot of people will say, Kiko, what? Impossible. But we will address it, and we will reach it when we're there. So let me look at the police basic salaries today in the kingdom. When the police officers from KPNA stationed in the SSS Islands went over to KPSM, they came with their basic scales from the time of KPNA, of the Netherlands Antilles. And until today, the only increase that they got was in the last indexation of 2012, a little 3%. The bovenwind toelage, which all others got included in their salary until today, is not included in the police salary scales. As a consequence, for your pension, it has consequences. For any other allowance, it has consequences because your basic salary did not change. So I give you here in this slide an example of what an aspirant van politie schaal 4P trede 1 is getting. En voor de schaal 5P trede 1 de agent van politie, de brigadier schaal 6. And when you look at those amounts, I can already hint you, it's not even reaching to the minimum wage in the Netherlands. So with that, I want to trigger you about what should be a fair remuneration. When you look at the Dutch police officer in 2023, I look it up, they just concluded their CLA negotiations. And this is the difference. They have an income, when you look at it in euro, it looks like a little less than what we have, but when you know that the euro is 1.98 in guilders, and you look at that, then you can see that the police officer in the Netherlands is almost getting twice as much as the police officers here. So, is that fair? Is that just? I'm talking to justice workers that every day have to look at, hey, things have to go in order in this society. So today my question to all of you as unions of the ones that have to maintain the order, is this the kind of order that we have to maintain? And so I started with your own pocket and the pocket of your members. And in extension of the police officers, you have the civil servants. Yeah, because their situation is not better than what you have.
Can you tell us when would the hard surfacing road project continue? When would they stop? When the other districts would come online? For example, LB Scott Road. And as we go into this, because it all relates to tendering and projects.
With respect to when the other roads are going to be resurfaced, I have to look to my Minister of Finance to ask when I'll get some more funds, because that is the issue and why we stop for now. The budget has been depleted with the year of 2022-2023 roadworks. The other tenders coming out, but again, it's just a budget of a measly 2 million guilders. With the extensive work that needs to be done, it doesn't make the cut. Of course, you heard me mention several times about the capital expenditure budget that we are in anticipation of. This will assist with 5 million guilders for the general road works and 3.6 million guilders for this hard surfacing of side roads. So I'm just sitting, waiting with my fingers crossed for that to manifest so that we can continue with the works. At the end of the day, I know that there are several roads that require a lot of attention. My next point is to continue in several areas in Cold Bay, K-Bay area, as well as Madam Estate, let's say from the zoo straight forward past Abu Ghazi Shawarma to that intersection there, because the road is very bad there. And one or two other areas that are very critical, and those are the main focus points right now once that money can come online. So it's a matter of waiting for funds to get those things, see those things come to fruition.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emma Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welchalaken Road K Hill from Welchalaken Road Roundabout until the One Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement.
Again, I am not protecting Bearing Point because I believe if we have companies on island that can do this, sure. But you know, it is hurtful that 5 years after the fact, we do this. Because you know what has happened? If the program was in place, this country would have collected on average some 30 million guilders more per year on taxes. For the past 5 years, we have done absolutely nothing. That could have been 150 million if it had started off in day one. But again, let's say it took 2 years, 3 years to get everything in order. We would have still been 60 to 90 million guilders further. And at least all those that should have been paying would have been paying. But that didn't happen. A lot of taxpayers got away with murder once again, because the system that would have been in place to hold them accountable for all those other things would have been done. But you know what bothers me most out of all of this? The Dutch government was okay with the Bearing Point tender. They were even, how would I say, joyful that we were finally getting a proper tax system in St. Martin, and they opted to assist in financing the whole tax digitalization system. You can remember the 30 million that the Dutch said we're going to make available? And when this government started moving around and blocking Bearing Point, they pulled back the 30 million and they said we're going to put it in the country packages. And those days it was that crazy thing we had. Let me not even go there. But the Dutch government pulled back the money. You know why? Because they said something is dead wrong now. The money was there. It was ready to go with Bearing Point. But the minute this government cut Bearing Point, the Dutch moved the 30 million. Talk the whole truth when you all talk. Because I have a problem with you giving a partial story when the whole story is a little different. But again, for clarity's sake, that's what went down. Let's look at Enya and the liquidity loans. Again, we're finding ourselves in a serious dilemma. And the government can say, yeah, we're negotiating, and yeah, we this. But you have nothing. You have zero. And that means that right now, St. Martin is in debt for 318 million guilders come October. There is no pushing off, as the Prime Minister said, oh, well, if we don't have an agreement, we're pushing it off for you. No, that's not true. That's not true. The only agreement you have, Madam Prime Minister, is you owe 318 million guilders due October 2023. That's the only firm agreement you have. The rest is all word of mouth. And right now, Van Huffelen don't seem to be too pleased with the way we're doing things. And the second chamber has left that door open. But come the end of August, we don't have an agreement. We will not have an agreement. Because everything then going to be hands off for the next 2 months when the Dutch elections take place. And that might mean for St. Martin a very, very cold fourth quarter. The government has a lot of problems. What Huffelen said, come and take the 700 million guilders and I go and fix Enya. St. Martin's share is 26% in the World Bank, of the central bank, which would mean approximately 182 million guilders would be the share of St. Martin in that Enya. We have only 10% of the people that are shareholders, but this is a central bank affair. The central bank allowed this to happen. And this is where I am somewhat confused, but maybe that's just me, because we have a problem and nobody's held accountable for it. Nobody in the central bank has really been held accountable for this whole Enya fiasco. To the contrary, we are praising some of them that were deeply involved in this thing. We have put them on a pedestal on stages. This is crazy.
France has begun flying hundreds of European citizens out of Niger's capital, Niamey, as tensions rise following last week's military coup. Paris has set up a crisis centre to organise the evacuations amid a deteriorating security situation on the ground. Separately, Brussels has backed the ECOWAS group of African nations sanctions against the rebel regime.
Nous avons clairement affirmé notre soutien à toutes les mesures adoptées par la CEDEAO lors de son sommet du 31 juillet en réponse aux coups de force. Mais jusqu'à présent, nous n'avons reçu aucune demande de la CEDEAO. Donc si toutefois nous recevions une demande, nous l'examinerions dans le but de définir la meilleure façon de respecter les engagements politiques que nous avons pris.
As the French cabinet met to discuss the crisis, Mali and Burkina Faso declared their support for the coup and issued a stark warning against any African or European intervention.
Les gouvernements de transition du Burkina Faso et du Mali avertissent que toute intervention militaire contre le Niger s'assimilerait à une déclaration de guerre contre le Burkina Faso et le Mali.
Chad's president has met his ousted Nigerian counterpart Mohamed Bazoum, now under house arrest, in a mediation effort. But so far there seems little prospect of a negotiated settlement.
With you, the new Kentaco, a combination that will surprise the most curious palates. Combining the deliciousness of KFC chicken and the practicality of a taco with a doubly delicious ergonomic shape. Wow, compatible with all types of bites. New Kentaco. Enjoy a double-breaded chicken breast with our secret recipe. Cheese, lettuce, and tomato. New Kentaco, the innovation that's in everyone's mouth.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
A display of the unifying power of music. Barbadians join people from other nationalities enjoying performances from local and regional creatives.
So amazing. This one is beautiful. Hey, have you been dreaming? It's burning out at 100.5 degrees. Get on me that they couldn't do that.
Some in the audience spared a minute to share their thoughts on the concert and their vision for the future of the regional grouping.
This is necessary for us to do, celebrating 50 years and understanding the importance of it. When we look at the developments that have certainly taken place within the CARICOM region, we can speak collectively of economic enfranchisement, we can speak of infrastructural development, we can speak about the individual successes that have certainly taken place within the region.
Very good initiative by the people, the government of Barbados, to put on this show. That everybody can come out and celebrate and really have a good time. It's not every day that everybody. And as I look around, I see people from all walks of life. I see white, I see Indian, I see everybody. And it's a really, really great initiative to come out and celebrate 50 years of CARICOM.
The show is excellent. We're having a great time. And I'm enjoying myself. CARICOM is great, but the country need to come together more. I think it's a bit selfish. We have to include everybody, all the CARICOM countries and the government in various countries.
Other CARICOM member states held celebrations back in July, while the remainder are set to get underway in the coming hours. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.